Hey Duck fans, Kurt here. Welcome to yet another FishDuck one-on-one video podcast. This week we welcome Rian Winter, co-host of the Sportschat503 video logs. Ryan, along with his co-host Bo, they create weekly videos that appear on YouTube that talk all things ducks and any other topical sports stories. It's always a bit of a off-the-cuff, relaxed, and entertaining tale. So, Ryan, how's it going?
Lovely, man. How are you doing?
Doing well. Well, thank you so much for taking the time out to talk to us. We do love your videos, and actually we host your videos on FishDuck.com.
Fish Tank, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Sportschat503, if you go to youtube.com and type in Sportschat503, you'll find all of his videos. As well as if you go to FishDuck.com, go to our Fish Tank video section and click on Fan Vlogs, all of his videos are right there. So, you recently topped 200 videos that you've done. When you started doing these, what was the inspiration to start making these videos, and did you ever think you'd actually do 200 of them?
Yeah, I don't know. First of all, Bo and I have been friends since we were little kids. We've been friends since we were, basically 6 years old, and so we've talked sports our whole life. Played on teams together, went to the same high school, played on all the same teams. And so we always talk sport, no matter what the sport is. And then all this internet stuff, started coming up, and I started kind of paying attention to it and went to the Rose Bowl against Ohio State. And when the Ohio State crowd started showing up on message boards and all the internet or whatever, I felt like that we needed a little duck representation. I come from a whole family of ducks. I was born there. I was born on campus, Sacred Heart, for all those Eugene babies out there. But exactly. So, but yeah, like as Portland Ducks, we come down to the games, we represent, and then we try to go to the road game, whether it's Washington or this year it's Quest or whatever they call it now. Mm-hmm. And so I just started trying to do it, and we just try to talk about it a little bit, and then we go to the games, try to get a little fan perspective. For the people who can't come, I've heard a lot of good things from Duck fans from all around to try to say, hey, thanks for trying to give us the look of, they like what it goes like when you go into Autzen, when you walk up from the little, And so all those things, and it's evolved. People really dig it, and here we are. 2 years later, I think 3 years later, maybe even. Yeah,
well, as a out-of-stater these days, I've been living in LA for about a decade now. It is really nice to get the fan perspective, because I try to make it back maybe 1 or 2 games a year, but otherwise I'm watching on TV, and there's nothing like a game day at Autzen or going to Matt Court. I still haven't gone to a game at Matt Knight Arena, so
it's weird.
Growing up with Matt Court, I know they put a lot of effort into it, but it's not, nothing will ever be Matt Court. So
for Portland fans, it's like a little mini Rose Garden.
Right.
It's not even. It's one tier down from the Rose Garden. They have 3 stories, and we only have the 2 sections. But it's sweet.
It was just a remarkable year across the board. So what was it like being in the belly of the beast, being able to go to so many events?
It was good. It was good. I mean, it was weird about this year for football was it seemed like last year was a little bit more exciting. It was their first run through it. You're going undefeated. And the games we were playing were, we're just blowing people out. And so those games were really exciting. This year, everything was great except for that SC game. That SC game was wild.
For you and I both, and for the other older fans out there that remember, Oregon sports pre-1994, before the CAS Center was built, there was always the passion for the program. There was always the hope that Oregon would win each time. But expectations were still, realistic of where the program was at. These days now, really, that Harrington and 2 Lukes era legitimized Oregon sports on a national scale. Ever since now, there's the expectation to win. And anything less than a championship these days seems like a disappointment, which is a strange place to be in.
Yeah, very much so. I mean, even when we started the baseball program, it was immediately all the Beav haters up here saying, okay, they got their 2 national championships. We're going to get ours now. Right. And it's like we haven't even played the first game yet, and here we are talking about winning national championships. And then you see how hard it is this year. You bring in a team like Kent State, who basically anybody only knows because of the shooting in 1970, and here they come in and they wiped the team. They were a great team. Who knows anything about the Kent? I didn't even know what their mascot was. And here they come in and they just roll us over. And here Duck fans like, well, what? We're supposed to be there for their, it doesn't come that easy, and especially in football, because now you're going to bring all that money in. Larry Scott changed the whole game with all that money. The Beavs are going to get a piece of the pie, and Washington State's going to get a piece of the pie. That's going to change it all for us. Stanford's always had their money. Washington's always had their money. We've been on the come up. Cal's always been okay, but now everybody's going to get equal slice, and that's going to change things big time. And you can see it this year. All those new coaches. There's going to be a lot of changes up here, and we can't just stay status quo, you know, because, hey, this is, I've told Duck fans for years, this is like a dream. I just feel like I'm going to wake up someday, and I'm going to say, God, is that real? Did that just happen?
So somehow
but it's for real.
They'll still be wearing helmets like this when we wake
exactly.
up.
Exactly. I mean, remember the days of Chris Miller and stuff. Like these guys. We have Anthony Newman up here. He gets on the radio and everything else. And Anthony talks about how, hey, there were good players in the '80s. We had good players playing football, but we talk about how we only had maybe one or two deep. Well, now we're getting these guys in. It's automatic. Well, I'm serious. LaMichael's the best running back we ever had, probably, right? I told Reuben Drones at the beginning of the year. I saw him in the Duck Club after the game, up in the whatever you call it, the club level. And I said, man, for that little brief period, where Reuben, you would agree with me probably on this one, he was the best of them all. For that one, it was between those injuries. He had like 8 games.
Four to 5 games before the UCLA game.
200 plus, man. Then he was on a broken ankle. And then, come on. But you lose LaMichael, everything changes. We've had him for the last 3 years. There's our success. So you lose the quarterback, you lose the running back. There's a lot of questions coming in next year. It's not automatic. I hear these Duck fans talk about, oh, well, it's just SC. No, it's not. We got to get that first game. That Arkansas State, the kid had his hand down is playing for them now.
Wrist.
And the wrist, Dyer. And the offensive coordinator, whatever, Malzahn.
Yep.
And then you've got Arizona. They're going to be heavy-handed. You got Washington State at the road game. It's going to be random. Washington's at home. That's a huge game. And the last time they beat us was at home, right? Was that 2004 or something?
2003.
2003. So, crazy things can happen. And go look back, if you have these new fans coming in here, and look at the Bellotti era. Bellotti didn't win every year. There were a lot of years where we were fighting for it. We went to that bowl game up against Wake Forest and got blown out, and you had the bad Las Vegas Bowl. You had some terrible stuff there. So it's not automatic. So that's my theory, man. Enjoy it. We're on the top of the world right now. You can't be complaining about stuff right now.
It's crazy to think, but with the depth that the team has, that's really the difference now, is the quality depth compared to the era that you and I grew up on. I can remember back in the 80s when Musgrave arrived, there were times those teams were good, and Oregon would be 6-1, 5-1, and then either Musgrave would get hurt or someone else would get hurt in one injury, and the rest of the season would just get trashed because there wasn't that depth. The difference now in the Chip Kelly era versus even the Bellotti era and the Rich Brooks era is the team is able to stack 2 and 3 guys deep of top-notch talent. That's really where the expectations, I think, come in.
Yeah, and the athletes are also a heck of a lot better. We go with Eric Castle and Chad Cota and stuff, and these guys have Walter Thurman, Jarris Bird, Pat Chung. I hate to be disrespectful to our elders. Obviously, we treat these people who played before us like gods, but seriously, the talent level is way better, and we're getting blue chippers. We're getting kids from Texas. We're getting kids. Coming when LeGarrette came here, he's coming from Florida. He's a grown man. So we're getting a top-level player. But the goal is to get them to play for you. And that's the thing that Kelly's doing, I think, that many other coaches can't do. They can look at Max Brown over at Texas. Max Brown over there.
Mac.
That guy gets, Mac Brown, that's right. Come on. That guy gets the best recruits every year, and those guys weren't even in a bowl last year. That's terrible. So the way isn't that crazy? Here's little Oregon. We're just dominating teams. So the way I look at it is 1, you got to get the player. 2, you got to have them make them play. And Chip's system, these guys buy in, and it's all systems go.
It's still in a lot of ways kind of a pinch me moment, like a dream sequence. For the younger fans, all they've known is success. All they've known is winning. Joey Harrington forward, but there's still a mentality like we're little Oregon. but we're no longer we're no longer the little guy coming up.
I know.
We are the envy of not just college but the professional ranks when it comes to facilities. We have some of the best coaches in the entire country that have repeatedly won awards for coach of the year. I mean, we're not.
Look at Radcliffe.
Yeah, every team in the country is jealous of the fact that we have Coach Rad, leading our team, and there's still a certain mentality of Little Oregon, the up and comer, the scrapper that we were. That was our identity in the 80s and 90s. We're not that anymore, but for fans like us, there's still that perception. So it's kind of a weird time. We're in that gray area where we've arrived on a national scale, but fan perception is still somewhat of like, hey, we're just happy to be here. At the national championship, I was ecstatic to just experience that. Even though we lost, just to be there.
Oh, yeah. That's the closer we're going to get to a Super Bowl. I mean, that was it. I mean, and now you're going to have the thing where in next year, whatever, they're going to change it. So now you're going to have fans go to 2 games. Well, most Duck fans are going to go to that first game. Why? Because we think we're going to lose. We don't think we're going to get to the second game. It's like, we're going to see one of them. And it doesn't mean that we don't believe in the team. It doesn't mean we don't want the team to win. It's just in the back of our mind, we have it guarded. It's like a kid who's been abused before. It's like we've seen the 0-0 game against the Beavs. It's like when nobody could win. And so
with all of that being said of perceptions versus the reality of what is Oregon sports right now, let's talk a little bit about expectations for the upcoming season. Because it seems like somehow every year Oregon football under Chip Kelly gets better than it was the year before. Yeah. So how do they top it from what they've done?
Right.
Now we're seeing recruiting go off like crazy. We've had four verbals just in the past week. Normally the class wouldn't come together until like the last week before signing day in past years under Bellotti. We get like 20 verbals on the final day. We have kids who want to be Ducks, who have now grown up being Duck fans. They may be living elsewhere in the country, but now on a national scale, kids grow up wanting to be Duck, wanting to play for Oregon. The team every year, Oregon's the only team in the country that's played in 3 BCS games the last 3 years. So
isn't that amazing?
And now Oregon loses, without question, the greatest running back in school history and statistically the greatest quarterback in Oregon history. And there's still the expectations of Pac-12 championship, BCS game, and maybe even national title or bust. It's mind-boggling, but what are your expectations for the upcoming season?
I mean, and even national media says that. That's crazy.
Yeah.
I know. Yeah, I saw on ESPN, they did the whole thing where they were rating every team, and then they came to the end, and then there was a little thing at the bottom of the page where it says, the guy who put this all together thinks Oregon's going to win it all. I was like, what? So, I mean, I don't know.
I'm not complaining, but...
Yeah, we got to play it first. Personally, I think the quarterback thing's interesting. Obviously, the spring game became me, the person who's, I guess, whatever, ADD kind of fan. I just jumped Team Mariota immediately, started printing up T-shirts and everything. But, either guy looks like he can play. The key thing for me is defense. And if we can get a defense that can stop the other team, we can score. So, obviously, we can score. So, if we can stop Keith Price in Washington, if we can stop SC Bart, I mean, we scored enough points to beat SC. We had beat SC before, only scoring 25, 30 points. We had to score, 37 points or whatever, and still lose. So, I mean, you're talking about the idea the defense give it up, and either the defense gives it up on the back end or they give it up front. And in that Auburn game, we didn't have the beef up front. Well, now we have the beef. I would love to play that Auburn game right now with Big Ricky and, Wade Kikipelli, and now with this Armstead kid. That would be a hell of a run, but we don't have that. So the way I look at it is if the defense is playing well, then we got a shot. And they think this defense might be better than any of the defenses the last 3 years, which is scary to think about, okay? So if you have the defense rolling and the offense already can score points, it's automatic people are going to think this team's unstoppable.
Well, His name is Rian Winter. You can catch him every week pumping out videos on YouTube under Sportschat503. Be sure to subscribe to his channel. Or you can also find the videos always posted with our friends on addictedtoquack.com, as well as in FishDuck in our fish tank video section under fan vlogs. So Ryan, thank you so much for taking the time out to talk to us. And
Kurt, one thing, man, you got to get up on that mixology. You got to check out Cameron Colvin, try to get him on this show.
Cam Colvin, we've interviewed Cam a couple times for FishDuck articles. We may have him on here very soon.
I've seen that. You should try it. Yeah, you got to check out the mixology and get the duck version. You get the green and yellow, get the whole thing going, you know? Got to accessorize these days.
Well, as if I don't have enough Oregon stuff.
Exactly.
If the bookstore put an Oregon O on a snowblower, I'd probably buy it and have it shipped down to LA. Just put an Oregon O on something, I will buy it. It's an addiction, but I guess it's better than crack or bath salts these days. So
it's all better than it's all better than crack. Well, Kurt, I really appreciate it though. Thanks a lot, and I really appreciate what you do as well. FishDuck, got to check out the FishDuck. All those things are beautiful, and it really, you know, when Charles started doing that, I think, you know, immediately the people that started picking up on that were the people who were not Oregon fans. People who were Oregon fans were on it already. Those people were already into it. It was all the people who were on the other side who didn't really know what the deal was. They heard maybe about it. They heard the spread thing, and the way that Charles breaks it down, it's really nice. So I've really been impressed. I've been proud of you guys, what you've done. You put a lot of work into it, and I know a lot of cash as well. So you gotta make sure you guys keep that ball rolling, because that's great. And it's also grown. You got all those different writers. You got stuff coming out every day. You got the video series. You got this one. You've got the other one that you do that I always try to check out as well with the little music selections and whatnot. It's beautiful. It is, man. So the thing is that we're really proud of you as Duck fans, and just keep the ball rolling.
Awesome, man. Well, his name's Ryan. He's co-host of Sportschat503. Be sure to subscribe, watch him, and until next time, thank you for joining us on the FishDuck 101.
You know, man, go Ducks, bro.
Go Ducks.